This is the Nosfet Aero. It's a 2,000 watt electric unicycle with this really kind of pretty unibody magnesium frame, symmetrical bidirectional suspension, and it's substantially lighter than most of the other electric unicycles on the market. And it has me thinking.
Am I just gonna become an EUC rider now? Is this my future?
So let's talk about it.
I've been riding Onewheels for almost a decade at this point, and honestly, I thought nothing could replace that feeling for me. And then I started riding the Nosfet Aero, and I did not expect to like it this much.
This is my second electric unicycle that I've ever owned. I had the InMotion, what is it, V11? 12? And I did like that wheel, but it didn't become super practical in my life, mainly because of its size and weight. And while the range was amazing, the speed was amazing, I even kind of liked the ride on it, I found it was more like owning a motorcycle than it was a Onewheel, which is what I spend most of my time with. The worst part about all the added range and stuff on this unicycle is it sucks to carry. Personally, for a personal electric vehicle, I want it to be small and light enough that if I need to, I can, lug it up some stairs and bring it into a store. And I'm hoping this here, this Nosfet Aero, is gonna be that, or at least closer to that for me, than what the InMotion wheel I had previously was. Let's do that.
What a sleek wheel. Yeah, that's a lot easier to carry than the other one. It's probably 10, 15 pounds lighter than what I'm used to.
I want to start out by saying thank you both to Nosfet as well as EVs, which is like a sweet electric vehicle shop out in Vancouver, for sending over this Nosfet Aero for me to test, review, play with, and hopefully fall in love with. So I've been riding the Nosfet Aero now for 2 or 3 months and trying to get as much use of it as I can, because I don't want to just step on this, have a hard time and say like, meh, unicycles suck, Onewheels for life. I came into this with the assumption that even best case scenario, even if I said everything about it is amazing, it's the best wheel ever, I would still come away with this snowboarding versus skiing analogy where I just want to ride this way, not this way. And while there is some truth to that, it got a lot more complicated because I have really found myself liking this wheel a lot. In fact, I would say there's only really 2 things about it that I don't like, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Should I just turn it on and see how it goes? I haven't ridden an electric unicycle in actually a couple of years at this point. I'm just kind of hoping I remember how. Okay, here we go. Whoa! Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, it bounces. That is fun. I already feel like I know how to ride it.
This is my first time stepping on the Aero, and I know I might be making it look easy. The truth is that's aided by 2 things. One is I do have a little bit of electric unicycle experience, but 2, I found that this wheel was a lot easier to ride than my V12 was. And I think that's probably due to the fact that this is a smaller diameter wheel than what I had on the V12, but I also found something about that suspension made it feel a lot more stable to me.
Oh, you want me to do this here?
I think it's important to note that the learning curve of an EUC is, in my opinion, a lot higher than a lot of other electric ridables.
It's easier when you're moving. Once you start moving.
So if you're just in the market for your first PEV, I think it is important to remember that you are gonna need some practice before you start getting comfortable on a wheel like this.
So I don't have a ton of experience on this wheel yet. In fact, I have virtually none. I took it home and back to the studio yesterday. So a little bit of commute riding. I'm kind of just taking it off-road for the first time now. Normally, I would hop down this. Let's just do it anyways. You know what, I've got to say, first impressions are really strong. It's pretty intuitive to ride. I haven't had much difficulty yet. I'm not going much over 30 or 35 kilometers an hour. Maybe I am, I'm not really checking. But I'm not really looking to on this. I know if you're a bit of a speed demon, you might want a bigger wheel, more torque, something like that. But I think for me, this is gonna be just as much as I need out of it. Ooh. Cool, dude.
This video has an all-new sponsor on the channel that I'm very excited to be working with, and that is Huckberry. Huckberry is the premier one-stop shop for men. The site is carefully curated and full of really high-quality goods, everything from lifestyle, apparel, home goods, all the stuff that you love from the brands that you already buy from. Woohoo, Spidey! They also have loads of stuff that is made in the USA so that you can have high-quality stuff built to last. You don't have to think too hard. But now here's the really exciting news. Huckberry is currently running their biggest giveaway ever. This is the Dream Year giveaway. One lucky winner is gonna take home a $125,000 prize. That is $100,000 in cold hard cash, $10,000 shopping spree at the Huckberry site, plus a first-class trip for you and a friend to go to Austin and visit the Huckberry teams. You're gonna get access to their team of experts, to their friends and families. You could maybe meet their grandma. No, you can't. You're gonna get access to their Rolodex of experts to help you design the best year ever. So if you have that one big idea, the book you wanted to write, business you wanted to start, life you wanted to live, this is your chance. Sign up at the link in the description. It's so stinking cool. I can't wait to see who wins and what they do with it. Huckberry, thank you for watching. No, that's not it.
I love that I'm wearing flops doing this.
Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure the recommended footwear.
Yeah, safety flops.
I honestly, I wouldn't be trying this first time in flip-flops either. This is the kind of thing that I would definitely wear a helmet. And most people who ride EUCs, they're like full motorcycle armor, like shin. Yeah, I've thought about even getting a face helmet.
But once you get the hang of it, it stops feeling so much like you have a big chunk of steel between your legs and starts to feel a lot more weightless. This is probably due to just how powerful this wheel is. So as mentioned, this is a very light wheel, and I think it's the lightest performance EUC on the market. So this is a high performing wheel that weighs more like I don't know, a prosumer, like a small, cheaper, not so great wheel. And so when you combine that smaller, lightweight form factor with a really powerful motor, you end up with something that can navigate different terrains really easily. This thing can climb hills like no other vehicle I've ever experienced. I'm sure other EUCs can do this, but this was really like a game-changing experience for me.
I cannot believe how easily it just climbed up that. That's one big advantage that an EUC has over a Onewheel, which is just approach angle, because obviously the tire is just kind of straight up there. You don't have a whole foot pad in front of you that's gonna smash into that wall. So that was very impressive. We got a decent size hill here.
By the way, this isn't going to be the most in-depth review you can find on this wheel. If you're looking for that, check out channels like Freshly Charged or Wrong Way. That dude is insane on a wheel. Or heck, even Kuji Rolls. Kuji Rolls, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Feels like he came out of retirement to make a video about this wheel. So a lot of what you're going to hear in this video is about my experience as a one-wheel veteran and what it feels like to switch over to an EUC. Now, unfortunately, I did very quickly cover up the beautiful magnesium frame of this wheel with the Velcro pads so I could put these power pads on. And they make a huge difference when it comes to maneuvering the wheel and feeling locked in, and especially if you want to be bonking off of things or riding down things, just making sure your feet stay where they need to stay in order to be, riding safely. The suspension system that the Aero uses makes it such a joy to ride. It's a symmetrical bi-directional system with about, I think, 70 millimeters of travel. It's fully adjustable for both rebound and compression, so you can fine-tune how soft or firm the ride feels. In practice, it makes all of your riding just feel better. It makes rough pavement or grass feel smoother, but it also helps you feel like you're floating, and for whatever reason, it also made me feel more stable.
I have been riding and reviewing Onewheels for 8 years now, and there's one comment that comes up on every single one of my videos, and it comes up a lot, and it's from electric unicycle riders being like, "Pah, you think your Onewheel is cool? You don't know nothing." I mean, really what they're just mentioning is how much superior
the specs of pretty much every electric unicycle is above pretty much every one wheel. And the truth is, they're kind of right. I mean, if you want to compare range or top speed, if you want to compare torque, clearance for like climbing and descending, there really is no competition. But despite that, I've never really been tempted to swap from my one wheel over to an EUC. Now my friend Brad runs this electric vehicle shop out in Vancouver called EVs, and he sent me this wheel over along with Nosfet in order to like try it out and review it. But I think partly it's because he's convinced this might be the wheel that gets me to switch from a one wheel over to an electric unicycle. I can't do this on a one wheel. It just makes me smile every time. I think for a lot of people, the difference between a one wheel and this is gonna be rider preference, like snowboard versus ski. But a big benefit that this has is for things like this, just due to the bigger tire and the fact that there's no foot pad sitting in front of the tire, your clearance for going over things or up things or down things is so much bigger. And because of that, I've found that using this as an adventure board rather than like just a commuter, I like it a lot. And when I'm using it as an adventure board, that increased range, that increased top speed, the ability to just bonk over things or drop down things is a really big advantage. It's fun in ways that I've never gotten to have with my one wheel. And I'm not trying to knock one wheel here at all. I've been on record many times saying that the one wheel is my favorite thing. But in a lot of ways, this is an objectively better vehicle.
Okay, so I'm making some pretty bold claims here about the Nosfet Aero. But this isn't a sales pitch, I don't have an affiliate link, and I do imagine that I'll still use a one wheel as my primary vehicle for most of the things that I do. So with that said, let's talk about some of the things I don't love about this wheel.
Really aren't that many things I don't like about the unicycle. One of them is this, is in slow traffic, you know, having to step off and get back on every time you want to start. And that isn't just at red lights or stop signs. That happens if I'm trying to weave my way through traffic or, you know, in parking lots. Just sometimes things come to a stop and I'm just not good enough to keep balancing on this the way I would on a one wheel. Yeah, so here's an example where I'd have to stop. Yeah, I often don't want to stop here. I want to be able to just get through an opening in traffic. But my start and stop times just take a little bit more time than I would like. The other thing I don't like about it is the noise that it makes while riding. So it has this kind of high-pitched squeal that it makes pretty much all the time while you're riding.
So I know I haven't really covered the tech specs here, like top speed, I think 35 miles an hour, range, I think also about 35 miles, weight is like 55 pounds. Look, here we go. Those are the main specs. But if you want to see those, watch another video. I wanted to give you more of the experience of what it's like to live with this. I think a one wheel suits my lifestyle better in that I can hop on and ride, hop off and carry it a lot quicker. And the truth is riding, you know, snowboard, skateboard style is my preferred method of riding. However, there's no denying this is a better vehicle. If you're looking for something that you're going to be able to commute a really long distance on, this is going to do it better. If you're looking to go fast, this is going to do it better. If you're looking to go through a forest and, you know, bounce off of every side hit that you see, this is going to do it better. The Nosfet Aero is a fantastic vehicle, and I guess all you EUC riders were right. The specs are better, but still, one wheel for life.